right, guys, Magic Spoon is here to reinvent your morning routine with high protein, keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, wheat-free, and naturally flavored breakfasts. This is cereal with 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and just 4 to 5 net grams of carbs per serving. Plus, their treats are just 1 gram of sugar, 11 to 12 grams of protein, and 1 to 2 grams of net carbs. Talk about starting your day on the right foot. There are flavors like cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, maple waffle, blueberry muffin, birthday cake, cinnamon roll. Need I go on? With Magic Spoon's 100% happiness guarantee. If you do not love it, they will give you your money back, no questions asked. Click the link below, scan the QR code, or go to magicspoon.com/Chael. Use my promo code Chael. That will save you $5 when you build your very own custom box. And hey, Canadian and British pals, they've got you covered too. Breakfast just got a whole lot more exciting, courtesy of Magic Spoon. Conor McGregor sends out a tweet. Conor McGregor says, just talked with Dana, definitely going to be fighting Chandler in 2024. That's not verbatim. I changed it a little bit. Well, I sure got the point. Do you believe it's true? If it's not true, why would it be said? That would also be relevant. I knew a con man, and he was unlike other con men. It was part of the con. It's part of why it worked. But most con men will sell you on something they don't have to deal with for a meaningful period of time. Give me 50 grand today, and in 2040, oh my gosh, I'm going to really turn this into something. It's a harder one to get. People like immediate gratification. It doesn't usually work in cons. But when it does work, you don't have to deal with anything for a meaningful amount of time. You actually might turn that 50 grand into something by 2040. The guy might be deceased by 2040. And I knew a con man, and he would do it tomorrow. Hey, give me 80 grand today. I will get you back 87 grand tomorrow. And I would always think, like, that's not much time. And when he would run the con, I didn't have to just defeat him. Right, you got friends, you don't want to tell them no when they're asking for money. I didn't have to just defeat him. He would always put a clock on it. Like, his way of urging me is he'd put an expiration on it. Hey, man, I gotta have this by today at 5. Oh, okay, great. Like, it has to be today at 5. My whole life is gonna change if I don't have this today at 5. It's like, okay, great. So, to maintain our friendship and not have an awkward conversation, I just have to return this voicemail at 5:01. I will have taken myself out of your own criteria. And I'm just sharing for you, like, it's not generally done that way. So when McGregor says I'm going to be fighting in 2024, like, he didn't buy himself a lot of time. And you can look at it and go, well, you have 5.5 months. Well, not really. Not really, you don't. There is one pay-per-view left on the calendar, and it happens to be the last one. It does happen to be in December, and it's targeted for T-Mobile, but that is the only one on the calendar that does not have a targeted main event. So it's not as though there's no hope, but it sure does narrow hope. It sure does change it. And there's a number of reasons why Conor's next fight will be in Las Vegas. But there's a number of reasons that you might not understand. With canceling an event and what that's actually a legal word as opposed to restructuring to postponing. It would depend what state you're in, but there is a high motivation to go ahead and just do his next fight in Las Vegas. So things are looking good, right? Like, things seem to be trending towards McGregor. But first off, for the statement to be true, you're banking on 2 things. You're banking that he's going to fight Chandler. That Chandler doesn't go and do something different. That it will be Conor versus Chandler. For the tweet to be, right, if you want to be a literalist, if you want to be a real prick about this, but it's the point of the conversation. First off, it's got to be Chandler. And second off, it's got to be 2024. And not only do I not believe it's true, I don't believe either of the two are true. I think that it has 2 falsities within one tweet. I'm not convinced he talked to Dana, but I'll let that one go. Now, the reason I want to address it is Conor has only ever sold one thing. And when I use that term, sell, when Conor was building the character and building the gimmick, when he's moving pay-per-views, he's moving t-shirts off the shelf, when he was building that up, there was many things that were him with the volume up, right? There was many things that was Money Mac on steroids. But the one ingredient that he slipped in was power. He always sold power. And he sold it so well that people in our industry believed it. People would report on it. I would actually watch guys in the suit holding the stick talk about, well, Conor's so powerful, he can get, and they'd fill in the blank. But that was the one thing that he didn't actually have. And it was one of the things that made the gimmick and character work so well. When Conor would show up late, he'd hold up a $50,000 watch and say, I got a watch, I got plenty of watches, nobody tells me where to be. When he was doing these things, as annoying as they might have been, it was a very important piece of the character and the gimmick. And Conor began to manipulate that over time. And like so many other things, once you say them enough times, they start to be true, right? All the truth is a lie told so many times that people stopped arguing with it. So, the one thing that is hanging in Conor's balance now, and it was getting slippery for a minute there. I mean, he was starting to have to really negotiate with the organization just to get booked for the Chandler fight. And before we go down that long and boring road, the one thing that he still got to cling to power is Michael Chandler not taking another fight. The one thing that would cut or put a little bit of a hole in the boat, this could be patched very easily, but the one thing that would put a hole in the boat is if Chandler goes and takes another fight. Conor putting out a tweet, 2024, talk to Dana, it's you and me, Mike. And Mike going, yeah, man, I talked to Dana and I had a little bit of a better conversation. I'll see y'all at the Sphere. All of a sudden you go, whoa, hey, wait a minute. You're not listening to Conor? You're not doing what Conor says? Conor's told you to wait for 2 years and you did like a good little boy. Conor's telling you to wait upwards of 5.5 months. You're not going to do that like a good little boy. You're not going to follow the weight class that Conor picked. You're not going to go the amount to run. I mean, I'm just sharing with you, right? Like it's all part of the gimmick. So Chandler had come out a week ago and said that he was offered a world title fight. So if Conor was to then get an announcement with Chandler, it'd be very good. Conor could just come out and say, I thought you were fighting for a world title. Like, right, with the announcement that you will be fighting, I thought you had a world title fight. Showing I trump world title fight, I trump everything, just for example. And it's why the tweet's interesting. No, I don't believe that it's true. There would be no reason to believe that it's true. There just simply aren't any dates left. That's not how a fight announcement is done. Had there been a fight that was agreed to our understanding, there's a contingency on an extension of a contract. Oh, and by the way, when's the last time you've ever heard of a major fight announcement by the UFC that wasn't done by the UFC? So there's not a lot here to grasp to, but there is a ploy and there is the image of power. And should Michael wait? Should he go for this? And I wouldn't fault them, right? Like, it's very hard to talk about this topic without prodding Chandler. There's no right answer. Like, there truly is no right answer. At the end of the day, had Chandler just taken a regular schedule, he'd probably be retired by now. You know, you're going on 2 years at 3 fights a year. We're not quite at 2 years, so let's shorten that and just call it 5 fights. I don't believe that you, the audience, believes Chandler has 5 more fights in the UFC. So let's call it 5. He'd likely be retired. And the dollars definitely don't make sense. There'll be one bigger payday, but had he had 5 other fights, it would greatly eclipse the payday. And I'm not giving Chandler a hard time. These are all things that Chandler has to lay in bed every night and think about, right? And then make his decision. It's a very tough spot that Chandler's in. Whatever he does, people like me are going to take the opposite side. You have to, or there's no conversation, right? I mean, I'm just sharing for you. But it's an interesting moment. And the feint and the perception of power is an important thing. And moreover, you do not want to reveal that you don't have it. So you can wait till December. You can find out that's already got a card penciled in. You try to get some business going on the Sphere. You respond to Dustin Poirier. Allegedly, you possibly even could pass over a title fight if that information was true. But when all of that is said and done, are you assured Conor McGregor? No. Of course not.